Okay, it's not on. So, good morning. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to the Health and Government Operations Committee. This is the Subcommittee of Public Health and Minority Health Disparities. It is a blessing to be with you this morning. So we're going to get started. We have 3 bills, one of which we will discuss but not act on. So I am going to allow the committee counsel, Ms. Erin Hopwood, to get us started. And she, as she usually does, will give us a description of the bill. Then I'll open it for discussions and we will then vote if appropriate. Erin, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Can you get us started? Please tell us how many bills we have on the agenda and start with the first one, please.
Okay, there's 3 on the agenda. We're going to start with House Bill 611. This bill prohibits a manufacturer beginning July 1st, 2022 from selling or offering for sale in the state a cosmetic if the manufacturer knows or reasonably should have known that the final product or its individual components were developed or manufactured using animal testing conducted on or after January 1st, 2022. There are a number of exemptions that are specified in the bill to the prohibition. The bill also authorizes a local law enforcement agency to enforce its provisions, and a manufacturer that has inventory that violates the bill is required to sell or otherwise dispose of the inventory by June 30th, 2022. And the bill takes effect January 1st, 2022. The cross file has passed the Senate unanimously in the same posture, and no amendments were offered at the bill hearing. There was also no opposition at the bill hearing.
Thank you so much. Delegate Hill, just briefly, will you like to be heard? I always give the sponsors if they're here.
Oh, thank you.
What's the bill number so I can read it while she talks, please?
House Bill 611. 611.
So thank you, Madam Chair. And I think Council did an excellent job of summarizing the bill. This is a bill that's been introduced in a variety of forms for several sessions and has really been worked out to achieve the goals without any really downside. And it just said there was no opposition to the bill, and it passed with bipartisan support from the Senate.
Is there any discussion from the committee? Do you have any questions regarding House Bill 611? Do you need a minute?
I could use a minute.
You can take a minute, Delegate. You can take a minute.
Yes,
So
thank you. I need a minute.
Take a minute. Okay. So basically, while they take a minute.
And Delegate Riley has her hand up, Madam Chair.
Delegate Riley, go ahead. And can someone mute? Because it's very loud. Delegate Riley. Delegate Teresa Riley, you're actually muted. We're not able to hear you. It's okay.
Got it. Thanks. Sorry.
My pleasure. It's okay.
I was reading over the fiscal note, and it says that it has a huge impact on small businesses. Do we know if there's any businesses here in Maryland that still follows this practice by any chance?
I don't have that specific information.
Yeah, and we didn't hear any testimony regarding that.
Nor did we hear from the chamber or any other business associations or organizations.
Okay, and then it says also, how are we going to, how's this going to affect businesses that still use this product in other states, and then our companies in the US, in Maryland, still sell it? How are we going to regulate that? Is that going to be allowed? And if so, what are we going to have police go in all the stores to read the back of the labels? Or I'm not sure how we're going to be able to, to actually make this bill effective as far as enforcing it.
I'm not sure I understand the question. What are you asking about other states? Just explain it again.
The other states that have not passed this, is this the one that I believe the only state that has passed something like this is California? Is that this bill?
I had California, Nevada, and Illinois.
Okay, so 3.
And actually, if I may be able to help you, Delegate Riley, on the fiscal note, page 3, it says this bill prohibition beginning July 1st, 2022 against selling or offering for sale any cosmetic product if the product or any individual component of the final product was developed or manufactured using cosmetic animal testing as specified and unless exempted. And then it says here, since many affected products are likely manufactured outside of the state and there are no requirements to products as being tested on animal, it says it may be difficult for social manufacturing companies to determine whether or not a particular cosmetic violates the bill prohibition. So it doesn't seem like they are manufactured here as far as your labeling question is concerned.
Right,
I
but
think
they're-
the-
but they're being- but-
And if
yeah,
I
but
may
they're being-
add,
But they're being
if
made
I
in
may
other
add, Delegate
states
Rel-
and sold here.
right.
Correct.
But what it says in the bill is if the manufacturer knew or should have known. So to your point, if they could not have known, would not have known, they're not liable under this bill.
Yeah, but if they still do that because it's not against their state law, then technically.
We're not affecting their state law. You just can't buy it from them if you know that what they're selling has has been tested on animals. So
Okay, thank you.
Has an ingredient and I can't buy it to use in the home hair oil that I'm creating to sell to, here in Maryland.
Delegate
It's
Slager
just-
has her
it's
hand
just that
raised.
Okay, one more question. It's just going to make it difficult for our stores here to sell products when it's not labeled and other states have not prohibited it for us to sell it and they could be in violation. So that's my concern.
It's, I think it's, council can correct me, I believe that we wrote this bill to be a prohibition on manufacturing, not on sale. I mean, on the manufacturer selling, it's not on the store selling.
Okay, all right,
Counsel?
thank you.
Trying to find her. No, you.
Any other questions?
It's manufacturers, yes. A manufacturer may not sell.
Delegate Slager has her hand raised.
Yeah, I see it, but let council finish. Go ahead, Delegate.
Yes, it applies to manufacturers.
Okay,
That was the question, correct?
all right. Delegate Riley, any other questions before I move on to the?
I'm good.
Thank you, Delegate
Thank you.
Hill, for letting me
Thank-
know. My pleasure, Delegate Riley. Delegate Schlega.
So it's just manufacturers and there's no people that manufacture that using animal testing in the state. Is that correct, Aaron?
I can tell you that it applies to manufacturers, which are in the bill as any person whose name appears on the label of a cosmetic in accordance with the requirements of, and it points to a provision in the Code of Federal Regulations.
I'm wondering why we're doing this year, with all due respect to my good friend Delegate Hill. We were asked to limit the number of bills we put in. I put 2 bills in because we were asked to not do bills that don't need to be done this year. And I'm wondering why we're doing this year, Delegate Hill. With all due respect, I don't that as critically as
This
it
was a bill-
sounds, but
This is a bill that got partway through last year. So this is a continuation of last year, just like other bills that did not complete because we had a premature adjournment. This is one of those bills.
And do you think China do you believe that China manufactures products used on animals?
Relevance? What's the relevance?
Well, because you're saying that if they're only, there's no requirements to label products as being tested on animals. So it'll be difficult to even know whether anything's been violated or not. That's a particular large manufacturer base that doesn't do a good job of telling the truth. And, I would say companies that don't use animal testing is fantastic, and they brag about it on their labels. So consumers could say, this is really important to me. I'm going to choose to purchase products that are not tested on animals. And, that's something I personally do. I'm not sure this going after the manufacturer that probably doesn't even exist in Maryland is doing anything more than making people feel good about something and not really affecting a change.
Okay, so you'll be voting against it, but just to the point, we're not always talking about large manufacturers. So I know a number of people. In fact, I had a woman who worked for me for many years, got her undergraduate degree in cosmetology, and then got her graduate degree in pharmacology because she is manufacturing a line of cosmetics. So this would apply to her, that as she's setting out and defining, there are lots of cosmetics that are not Revlon and the big names that are being manufactured in the state. When I go to the county fair, I go to the various Sunday farmers markets. There are lots of products that I can buy that are manufactured in the state.
We have next Delegate Riley. Is that from before, or you forgot to put your hand down? You forgot to put your hand down? No?
Hold on. No, I do have it up again. Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I heard the council had said that it didn't affect, sellers, but in the paragraph that you had read earlier in the fiscal note, it says, has a significant impact on any small business that sells or manufactures affected cosmetic products in the state. Now, is that taking out because they're not labeled, or is selling still part of this? They're going to be in violation if they, how do you know if they know whether the product, because it's not labeled, how do you know that they have that product in it? Is the seller still responsible if someone would come in and say, hey, you're selling this product that was tested by animals, does that apply to this bill? I'm not sure that I got the right answer on that, or can you check to verify that?
Erin?
I can check. The way I read the bill is that it applies to manufacturers. So this small business would have to be a manufacturer in the fiscal note.
Well, it says small business that sells or manufactures.
I can check, 'cause that's not the way I'm reading it.
No,
Okay.
actually,
The manufacturer may not sell or offer for sale.
Right.
Okay,
So it's-
all right.
Yeah, it's
Thank you for the
very clear
clarification.
that it's a manufacturer under the bill.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Are there any other questions? Delegate, right, is up. Your Delegate Riley?
Oh, nope, down,
Okay, thank you.
down.
I know I do that all the time. Any other questions regarding this bill? Any other concerns? Delegate Chisholm?
Now I'm a little confused. Are there any manufacturers of these products in the state of Maryland that we know of?
I don't have an answer for you. And again, I'm certainly aware of different manufacturers of a variety of cosmetic products that are not your big name Sephora. Again, I see them all the time. So
Okay.
I would be surprised if there aren't. I suspect that, to Delegate Shalago's point, this issue of cruelty-free products has been around for some time, that most of them would be doing due diligence. This is sort of suspenders over belt to make sure that they're aware and that they do the due diligence.
And the law, current law, the state is silent regarding cosmetic animal testing. So we don't have any current law. That's why this bill is in. Any other questions or concerns? All right. See, Delegate Bagnall, do you have a question? Okay. All right. Seeing none, is there a motion on the bill?
I'd like to move the bill.
Okay, it's a second. It's been moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me, Shalega.
Okay, thank you. All right.
And Riley,
Thank you,
Hands
thank,
up.
who is it?
Teresa.
Riley, Delegate Shalega, and who else? All right, that's it. Thank you. Aaron, the next bill, please. And thank you everyone for the discussion. The questions were really good. I appreciate it. Aaron, the next bill, please.
House Bill 643 would prohibit a person from manufacturing, selling, delivering, holding, or offering for sale in the state a cosmetic product that contains certain intentionally added ingredients. They are listed in the bill. There's 12 chemicals that the bill would prohibit from being added to a cosmetic product. The bill also provides that there's an exception for a person would not be in violation if the person manufactures, sells, delivers, holds, or offers for sale a cosmetic product that was manufactured through a process intended to comply with the section and contains a technically unavoidable trace quantity of any of the ingredients that were listed in the bill due to an impurity of a natural or synthetic ingredient, the manufacturing process, storage, or packaging. The bill would take effect January 1st, 2025. Delegate Palakovich-Carr, I hope I say it correctly, she had an amendment that was offered at the bill hearing that was supported by the Personal Care Product Council, and it would provide that it would be the intent of the General Assembly that the act be construed in a manner that is consistent with the prohibition on the presence of the same intentionally added ingredients in cosmetics enacted by the European Union under European Parliament and Council regulation number and any certain amendments.
Thank you. So good morning, Delegate Palakovich-Carr. I usually allow the delegates to speak. So if you want to be heard, this is your opportunity. Tell us, why you think this bill is important, and then I'll open it up for discussion and questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate that
Pleasure.
opportunity. Yeah, so just as a reminder, this legislation basically puts Maryland in the same posture as California and a number of other countries. Most major manufacturers and stores actually already have banned any products that contain these chemicals from their shelves, and the big manufacturers have already moved away from it. There are, a very small number of small manufacturers, especially in China, that are selling products in the United States that do still contain dangerous chemicals, and that's what the point of this legislation is. The legislation in this form and with the amendment that was just mentioned did pass unanimously in California last year. It does have the backing of every stakeholder, including the beauty industry for this legislation. There was no opposition at the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I'm going to open it up now for the subcommittee. Subcommittee members, are there any questions regarding this bill? Any concerns? I see Delegate Riley, followed by Delegate Shalega. Delegate Riley.
Yes, one question. Do we know any particular products that we currently sell here in Maryland that has this in it? Do we have a list of them somewhere? I know
In my
it's a lot of-
testimony, I referred to some examples of instances of found in the past, and it's everything from like sunscreen to
Right.
cosmetic products to shaving cream. Again, it's not the vast majority of products, especially on store shelves in Maryland, already are in compliance with this legislation.
Okay, and this is the one where it's just, how many states in the US banned this?
So far, just
and-
California, they were the first to act last year.
Okay,
In California,
so-
one second, just for clarification, Delegate, California has the same date of 2025, correct?
That's exactly right. Yes, they give the 4-year phase.
okay, and do we know if our businesses here in Maryland still make products with these chemicals in them?
I'm not aware of any manufacturers in the state of Maryland that make any products that would be in violation of this law. And I'll say in terms of stores, because this bill, unlike the last bill that you all are talking about, does also apply to retailers not being able to sell the products. But most of the big box stores and even drug stores already have stopped selling products that include these chemicals, including CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, Amazon and Target already.
So they've done it on their own. Okay, one follow-up.
Absolutely.
So these are usually label on, on the labels, correct?
For the most part, the only time where it might be hidden on a label is if it's included under the term fragrance, because they aren't required to disclose what's in a fragrance. But in other instances, and for most of the products on this list, I think there's one or two that might be hidden under the term fragrance, but the manufacturer would know that they're using it.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. Appreciate your answers. Thanks.
Thank you for your
Madam Chair.
questions. My pleasure. Delegate Shaliga.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
My pleasure.
And, Delegate Polakovich-Carr, thanks for bringing this bill. I'll ask you the same question I asked Delegate Hill. Why are you bringing this bill this year when we've been asked to limit our bill introductions, especially since it won't take effect for 4 years? Could this bill wait till next year?
Well, I guess I'll answer it kind of in two ways. I mean, first of all, this is a public health issue. There are people who have actually suffered really negative and documented health problems from some of these products. Again, especially ones that they've bought online that were manufactured in China. People who have used skin lightening creams that have actually caused very serious burns to their faces, have made them lose hair, etc. So there's some pretty egregious cases out there of why this is in the public's best interest for us to take action. In terms of why this year, the industry, and I don't remember if they brought this out at the hearing or not, but I mean, a big part of the reason they're backing this bill is because it's in the same form as California. They want to have kind of solid, consistent regulations across jurisdictions and not have a patchwork of jurisdictions. And they like that they have this predictability of it. It doesn't go into effect for 2025. So I think they would much prefer that they know that they need to be going on this route for any of them that still have a little work to do in terms of compliance, rather than have it sprung on them and it go into effect that same year.
Okay, with 4 years though, it could potentially, you could bring it back next year and it would be 3 years away. So time is not of the essence here, is that right?
Well, again, the time frame was negotiated in the California legislation between all stakeholders, including the beauty industry on that side. That's the time frame that they're supporting. I think it makes sense for us to start going down that path this year here in Maryland, given the public health interests.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, is there a motion on the bill?
Move the bill.
I'd
Is there a
like to hold the
second?
bill for
Second.
one. Can I hold the bill?
You're going to hold the bill? Okay. So why don't we do something, Delegate? Do you want to, this is the first time you're asking, since there was a motion, do you want to let us vote it and you can hold it? Or do you want us to hold the vote?
If you can just hold the vote, I'd like to do that. Do a little
And I
more
know
work on the bill.
Yeah, you usually don't ask it, so I'm going to go ahead and allow it, but I'm going to hold it and it will be on the committee for next week, okay? On
Thank
our
you.
agenda. All right, so be ready to come in and vote on it next week. Thanks so much. Thank you, Delegate, for being with us today. We usually allow our members to hold the bill one time, okay?
All right, thank you. See you all next week.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. The next bill on the agenda, Erin.
House Bill 689 would authorize a licensed certified social worker clinical in conjunction with a physician to certify an individual for involuntary admission to a facility or a Veterans Administration hospital. I did invite Delegate McComas. I'm not sure if she's on the call.
So we're going to discuss the bill, but we're not going to vote on the bill, okay? So why don't you go ahead, Erin, were you done with your description of it?
Yes, and just to let you know, there is a cross file. It's in finance. They are voting on the cross file tomorrow with amendments. One amendment would tie in another provision in Title 10 of Health General that would coincides with what's being amended in the bill in terms of when a parent would be committing their minor child to a facility. Current law has the same requirements for the physician or the psychologist signatories. This would also amend that section to allow the certified social worker. They also want to add in an amendment that would authorize the second signatory to be a licensed clinical counselor. I think I'm getting that wrong. So that is also something that's being considered in finance. They will vote on it tomorrow. Then you could have the benefit of knowing what it looks like after the cross file has been voted in finance.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that if we are going to act on it, that the delegates' bill does not end up in conference because they don't mirror each other. So it's much easier to get it right here, to see what the Senate is doing, if that was the actually the wish of the subcommittee. Delegate Hill, you have a question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
My pleasure.
So Aaron, I have a question that actually relates to an amendment that I'm trying to work on the bill I held yesterday, because this is a good example. This talks about a physician, and at least as I read the bill, and I don't see obviously don't have the whole statute. If we go ahead with the podiatric physician bill, as will probably pass, would we have to do something in this part of the statute to make sure that the physician listed here is not a podiatric physician?
I mean, I need to look at both bills, but if you're concerned, if that's your concern, then you'd have to look throughout the code wherever a physician's
Okay.
listed.
Thank you. That was my concern, and I've been told that wasn't an issue, but this looks like a perfect example where it may be and we're not thinking ahead enough. Thank you.
Minute. Any other questions? I see none. So we're going to hold the bill. So I think that this completes the work. Erin, are there any other bills on the agenda?
That's the only bills today.
Okay, great. So we also we will be adding a couple more bills for next week. So as always, I send you a text. So please try to come right after, right after the floor, make sure you come so that we can do the work, because we're going to be getting a lot more bill. It won't be such a short, time frame as it was today. Delegate Shalega.
Thank you. I know I get a government ops subcommittee meeting agenda. Am I missing the one from this subcommittee, or do we not get them? So I can come prepared with the bills that we're discussing.
You get them. Let me check my email distribution list, because maybe.
Okay.
It didn't come in PDF format. That's probably why, Kathy, because I did the
I
same
sent an
thing.
email that has just like what we're going to discuss. But let me
Okay.
to make sure
Just-
you're.
Yeah, if you can make sure my Gmail's on that, not my laptop.
Oh, Gmail. Okay.
Yeah,
Because she's been sending it to your, your state
Laptop.
addresses. That's why.
Okay.
But she's been sending them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Do you,
If you can just after this call, let me know your Gmail.
yeah, Delegate Shalega, I was gonna say, make sure she has your Gmail.
I
would also add
I
Delegate
want to give
Shalega
it to the whole Western world, because then
that
you have a lot of
MGA
work to do.
And if it's an issue, again, the MGA website actually does list the bills for each of our subcommittee meetings as well.
Yeah,
It's
but
in a PDF
Erin she
format.
does a
Right
good
about
job.
that. Thank you.
She always sends it to us with the amendments and stuff, but we'll make sure that people get it. And always, I'll give you the time you need us. We're not rushing through it, okay?
I don't see Delegate Shalega's name on the email.
I'm sorry. It must have gotten cut off.
Okay,
So I'll
Yeah.
get it to you. My apologies.
so thank you very much. And thank you for bringing that up, Delegate Shalega. Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, thank you very much, everyone, for your time and your consideration, okay? I hope you get to have some lunch. It is 11:54, so we got you out early, and see you at 1:30, okay? Thank you for your patience. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.